Good morning. Welcome to First Parish in Framingham. Welcome if this is your first time joining us, and welcome back if this is your community. First Parish in Framingham is a welcoming congregation. Whoever you are, whomever you love, however you move around in the world, and wherever you are in life's journey, you are welcome here. We welcome you here in the meeting house or on Zoom or wherever and whenever you may be watching this service in the future. I'm Rupal Bhatt. I use she, her pronouns, and I'm your worship associate this morning. Please be sure to read the announcements in the order of service. Immediately following worship, you're invited to join us for coffee hour in Scott Hall, just across the courtyard. This is our first week of another 4 to 5 Sunday experiment with family worship and our worship service. And our family worship took place today at 10 a.m. Please take a moment to turn your phones or other devices to their quietest settings. While beeps and buzzes can be distracting, we welcome your human noises, cooing, babbling, laughter, and all. And we especially love the sound of your singing, so please join in. Since 1701, people have gathered as this community to rest or recharge, to be challenged or affirmed. These people are like you. You belong here. Maybe only for the next hour, but we hope for longer. We're happy to have you with us. I now invite you to take a comfortable breath in and out. Continue to take a few more comfortable breaths and to begin to release whatever you need to let go of to be more fully present to yourself, one another, and the sacred in this time and place. Each time when we gather, we light the flaming chalice, the symbol of our faith, to mark this time as special, as time apart from time. The words to accompany our chalice lighting were generated with artificial intelligence with the prompt, "Create a chalice lighting for a UU worship service." In the quiet sanctuary of our gathering, we kindle this flame as a symbol of our shared journey. May its light illuminate the pathways of our hearts, guiding us toward understanding, compassion, and connection. As we gather in community, may this flame remind us of the warmth we offer one another, the strength we find in unity, and the hope we carry for a brighter world. Let us be inspired by the flame's gentle dance as we kindle the fire of love, justice, and peace within ourselves and throughout the world. May this chalice light our way as we embark on this sacred time together. Please rise in body or spirit to sing hymn number 10, Immortal Love, Forever Full.
sacrament, and service is its prayer, to dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge and freedom, to serve all life with compassion, to the end that all souls shall grow into harmony with the divine. This is our great covenant, one with another and with our God.
We set aside this time in our gathering to share with one another the joys and concerns which are now shaping our lives. After our final candle is lit, we will sing the 2 verses of There Is a Love, which can be found in your order of service. I begin now with these sorrows of our gathered community. Kathy Mello writes, "My brother-in-law Keith succumbed to ALS in the early morning on Friday. Please continue to pray for my sister and her family." Diane B. writes, "Holding space for changing relationships, loss of a beloved pet, and upcoming surgery among family members." And these are the joys of our gathered community. Carol Boyce writes, "A joy, happy to share that my dad is doing well and turns 96 this week." Valerie Packard shares that Michael and I celebrated our 21st wedding anniversary on April the 5th. Ben Long shares a joy about the upcoming solar eclipse. And Beth Walton shares that Aaron and Jimmy got engaged on Friday. We are a people of joy and a people of sorrow. Let us light one final candle for all of the joys and all of the sorrows which remain too great to share today. Let us now sing There Is a Love. There is a love holding me. There is a love holding all that we love. There is a love holding all I rest in this love. There is a love holding us. There is a love holding all that we love. There is a love holding all. I rest in this love. We now rest in that love, a love which encompasses all. We return our attention to our breath in and our breath out. We feel what is supporting us: a chair, a pew, or the strength of our gathered community. O Spirit of life and love, named and unnamed, but who calls us each by our true first name, which is beloved, seen in the laughter of children, heard in the laughter of children, seen in great celestial observances, felt in the joys of family and friends. We give thanks for all of these joys and for all that we have. We know that it did not have to be this way. We know that there are also tender spots, tender parts of our community. those who are mourning losses, some too great to even share. May we have the compassion to reach out, to lend a helping hand and a listening ear, and know that sometimes our presence is enough. Oh, there is also war in our beautiful but broken world. May we work in the ways that we know best to bring a little bit more peace to the world, to work to bend the arc of the universe towards justice. And friends, we are sometimes, well, we are always human, but sometimes our humanity shows a little bit too much. We are quick to temper. We fail to show compassion to those that deserve it, which is everybody, including ourselves. And let us also remember that because we are breathing, there is still chance, still time to move back into right relationship. I say these words and do all things for love's sake. Let us now sit in the quiet of this space so that we might rest or recharge, listen to the prayers of our own hearts, or simply do nothing for one whole minute. And let us each use this time of intentional silence as a reminder that any time we need to recenter ourselves, we can always return to that quiet.
So we're going to begin the offering. If you've already given during the children's service, you can allow it to just pass you by. The words for our offering were generated by artificial intelligence. As we gather in community, we are reminded of the interconnectedness of all beings and the importance of supporting one another on life's journey. In the spirit of generosity and care, we invite you to participate in our offering. Your contribution sustains our shared ministry, enabling us to nurture the bonds of fellowship, support justice and compassion in our wider community, and continue our mission of love and service. Whether you offer your financial support, your time and talents, or simply your presence, know that your contribution is deeply appreciated and it makes a meaningful difference in the lives of others. Let us give with open hearts, knowing that together we can create a world of greater love, understanding, and justice for all. Thank you for your generosity and your commitment to the values we hold dear. May our offerings be a reflection of our shared commitment to building a more compassionate and just world for all. Thank you, choir. Our reading today is a selection from Cosmos, Possible Worlds by Anne Druyan. Science, like love, is a means to that transcendence, to that soaring experience of the oneness of being fully alive. The scientific approach to nature and my understanding of love are the same. Love asks us to get beyond the infantile projections of our personal hopes and fears, to embrace the other's reality. This kind of unflinching love never stops daring to go deeper, to reach higher. This is precisely the way that science loves nature. This lack of a final destination and absolute truth is what makes science such a worthy methodology for sacred searching. It is a never-ending lesson in humility, the vastness of the universe, and love. The thing that makes the vastness bearable is out of reach to the arrogant. This cosmos only fully admits those who listen carefully, for the inner voice reminding us to remember we might be wrong. What's real must matter more to us than what we wish to believe. Please rise and bow to your spirit to sing hymn number 163, For the Earth Forever Turning.
So I am guessing that for a lot of us, the first thing that comes to mind when we think about artificial intelligence is likely robots, likely from TV or movies, that comedic duo of C-3PO and R2-D2 from the Star Wars movies, or perhaps HAL 9000 from the Space Odyssey series, that chilling interaction between Dave and Hal as a cautionary tale. Open the pod bay doors, Hal. I'm sorry, Dave. I'm afraid I can't do that. I don't know what you're talking about, Hal. I know that you were planning to disconnect me. Hal, I won't argue with you anymore. Open the doors. Dave, this conversation can serve no purpose anymore. Goodbye. Robots, too, are in our houses. I've had 2 Roombas, and I'm not concerned about the Roombas developing sentience. They barely get all of our dog fur up. In other realms of technology, though, I have my doubts. It's safe to say that I am usually an early adopter when it comes to a lot of technology. My family had a VCR way before it was a normal appliance for families to have. I've had a computer probably for more of my life than I have not had one. And I also remember in like 1996, when I was way too young to have one, I got an email address. So I've had one for about 27 years. And just to boost the nerd credentials a little bit more, I have a lot of memories of going with my dad to computer shows, those really particular mid-90s experiences of going to convention centers where people had just these huge bins full of computer parts, and you could assemble a computer on your own. That's a lot of other talk, but we will go further. I have been on social media in some format for a long time, joining MySpace in 10th grade and other forays into blogging, and have been on Facebook since 2005. I've shifted my usage as well. In 6th grade, I remember I wrote a passionate essay about how schools should only use PCs, and that Apple computers were not what the industry uses. And I have been a Mac user for quite a while now, so there is shift too. And I fully expect that this sermon on artificial intelligence is going to age horribly. I expect that my views on it will shift as well. I share all of this to say that at a certain age, I think our technology use solidifies. We all know the next step that is out there that we choose not to use. As an elder millennial, I don't use TikTok. It confuses me too much. So I'm not sure if I fully embrace AI, especially a common form of it called ChatGPT. I'm an amateur nerd or geek. I always forget the difference, though I'm sure Pete and Tom will fill me in on that. I have some concerns about AI as well. ChatGPT is this large language model of artificial intelligence that writes human-like text. What's an example of what ChatGPT can do? Well, we heard it as the chalice lighting and as the invitation to the offering. I even asked ChatGPT to write 4 paragraphs of a sermon on artificial intelligence. And I told ChatGPT, hey, here's about 1,500 words of a sermon that I recently preached. Could you write it in my writing style? So I have felt it as well, this sense of wonder and belonging, especially within the community of our congregation. In contemplating the unique essence of this gathering, I'm reminded of the intricate balance between innovation and tradition, a balance reflected in the adoption of emerging technologies like artificial intelligence and machine learning. Just as the concept of church has evolved over time to meet the spiritual and communal needs of its members, so too must we navigate the benefits and dangers of integrating artificial intelligence and machine learning into our lives. Much like the inception of a church, the development of these technologies often begins with the spark of an idea, a desire to address a specific need or enhance human capabilities. These technologies hold the promise of streamlining tasks, improving efficiencies, and unlocking new possibilities across various domains, from healthcare and education to finance and transportation. However, just as with any innovation, there are inherent risks and ethical considerations that demand careful reflection. In our pursuit of progress, we must remain vigilant against the potential dangers of unchecked artificial intelligence, from algorithmic biases that perpetuate discrimination to the erosion of privacy and autonomy. There are myriad ways in which these technologies can impact individuals and societies at large. As stewards of our congregation and global community, we are called to navigate these complexities with wisdom and compassion, ensuring that our embrace of innovation is guided by our shared values of justice, equity, and human dignity. In the same way that our congregation serves as a beacon, the bot writes, as a beacon of support and connection for its members, we too must strive to harness the transformative power of AI for the greater good while mitigating harm by fostering a culture of responsible innovation and ethical inquiry. So that's fine, right? It's a little spooky. Yeah. As ChatGPT was released in 2023, I began exploring how to use it. Some colleagues shared that they had actually written entire sermons with it. And I was skeptical, and I read these sermons with interest, if not cynicism and skepticism. And they were structurally fine sermons, but they had not been, as Emerson or Channing said, been passed through the fire of thought. Our chalice lighting today was created with ChatGPT, and they're fine. The social media world that I exist in is filled with artists and environmentally aware people, and they have concerns about it. Many colleagues have mentioned that artificial intelligence has to use something as its model. It is machine learning, and you have to wonder who else's work are they using to shape these chalice lightings. Yes, it's true, when I write my own chalice lightings, I'm using other people's examples, and other people taught me how to write chalice lightings, but there's some sort of implied consent there when a teacher shares with a student an example. My colleague in Kalamazoo, Michigan, the Reverend Rachel Lomberg, fills in some of the gaps for me here. OpenAI, the company behind ChatGPT, used copyrighted work to train their model. Almost all AI programs for art or words are trained on copyrighted material. They're built on intellectual property theft. Most AI programs then are in fact plagiarism machines. Until there is compensation, Rachel writes, for the people whose copyrighted work was used to train AI programs, or for an AI program to be trained only on material for which producers have given permission, artificial intelligence like these seems unethical. Some companies and organizations are already using ChatGPT or its visual art equivalents to not pay writers or artists. Reverend Lomberg continues on to say that ChatGPT makes things up. It lies rather than admits its own limitations. The consequences of relying on ChatGPT can range from annoying. Rachel knows a professor who was contacted by a stranger asking for a research paper they had written, a paper that ChatGPT had told the stranger about, a paper that did not actually exist. And that's the annoying. It can also range to the deadly, and Lauren mentioned this if you were here for the family service. People in the mushroom harvesting community have seen books being sold about mushroom identification that are written by AI and misidentify mushrooms. Someone could die from trusting that book. Please don't use artificial intelligence tools to generate what you need to be factually true. AI makes up things constantly. And yet I've heard plenty of other colleagues say that they're using ChatGPT as a brainstorming buddy to write pledge drive emails and so forth. I once used it to select some quotes from a sermon to use on social media, and also to use it to create a discussion guide for a sermon. And again, I found the results to be fine, but I had to go in and edit it. It wasn't good to use on its own. My own hesitation about using AI is not that I don't use tools that I don't fully understand. I don't know how an internal combustion engine works, yet I drive a car. I don't understand the mysteries of prayer fully, yet I pray. I don't understand the intricacies of the stock market, yet I invest. It's not that I don't, it's that I don't understand how AI is useful. And because I don't quite understand how it's useful, I don't understand how I can use it ethically. There are simple ways to evaluate how to use AI ethically. And when I say that, I don't mean if the AI uses source materials that the creators have consented for it to be used for. I don't mean, is this AI using ethically sourced fair trade materials? At the moment, that doesn't exist, to my knowledge. I mean, am I sharing products that I used ethically? I can ask myself, is my use affirming inherent worth and dignity, bringing more compassion and equity into the world? Will I cite that I used ChatGPT in a final product? Am I using this for peaceful purposes? Am I considering the environmental impact of my usage? That's something we're not even going to get into in this service, but you can go online and hopefully find good non-AI created sources for the environmental impact of it. So then I asked, hey ChatGPT, how might a UU ethically use AI? And interestingly, a lot of my ideas were exactly the same as what the bot suggested. It did say that I should treat ChatGPT with dignity. Not quite sure how to do that. I should consider whether my questions or prompts could potentially harm others or perpetuate unethical behavior. So that I should use my reason and conscience to guide my interactions in a way that aligns with UU values. But here's another reason, and I didn't even get here until yesterday, when I read an article from G's magazine. I have hesitated in using ChatGPT and AI because they don't seem real. Rob Saylor, a professor of theology at Christian Theological Seminary in Indianapolis, writes about a conversation he had with a partner at a convention who says that she recently began using ChatGPT for therapy, not emergency therapeutic intervention, but more like life coaching. It was a sounding board for vocational discernment. Saylor goes on to say, if the gut level reaction to ChatGPT therapy is that it's not real, then in Matrix-esque fashion, we have to ask, how do we define real? If reality involves feeling understood, feeling synchronicity, then perhaps that is connection, and that connection is, in fact, real. Dietrich Bonhoeffer, in his great book on Christian community called Life Together, pointed out that if I'm only making confession to God in the solitude of private prayer, it would be really easy to shape God into a self-serving idea for my own justification. However, the presence of another human being as confessor forces me to engage that which, unlike the idea of God, resists my subtle twists into idolatry, namely the flesh and blood human other. So perhaps, and with caution I say, AI may be useful in this case. Now I close with some reflections from a colleague who uses the pen name Maria June, especially when she writes about her kids. She writes that her 19-year-old son, who is neurodivergent, he has multiple disabilities as well, but he also loves to be a beta tester for any technology that is in development. And AI was one of the ones that he signed up for immediately. Maria June writes that art classes in high school never fit him. Her son became convinced that he was no artist. Maria June says, "One day I found my son at the computer doing things that computers in the average person's home had not been able to do yet. My son would enter text describing something he wanted to create, and the computer was producing multiple versions of this image that he had in his mind. Suddenly, his motor control challenges were not keeping him from bringing his imaginations to life. He was in an exclusive group of people beta testing DALL-E technology, which is an AI art technology. He spent hours learning how to refine his text descriptions to get the images that he had imagined. He researched artists and artistic styles so he could accurately describe the forms in his mind. He spent time talking with others about art. Never in all of his years of school did he take much interest in learning about art. Then, as new features were added to DALL-E, he was able to begin editing the images using Photoshop-like tools. He didn't need AI to create exactly what he had in mind because he could change the creations with his mouse and his keyboard. She continues on saying, "As I watched him work to adapt images that had been provided to him, I was reminded of my mom. She's a multimedia artist, working with multiple materials, including existing art, such as other people's photographs, magazine clippings, or printed fabrics, ribbons, and other items to completely create original and stunning pieces. My son's processes were much the same. While he started with images created by others, he developed entirely new artwork from the creative force inside of him. It was hard work, and he took his time, just as my mom's work takes her time." She finishes by saying, "In schools, the conversation about AI is about cheating. While some teachers are using AI as a tool, teaching their students to take advantage of the technologies available to help them organize their thinking, develop their language, and initiate creative processes, the rhetoric that centers concern of cheating makes my son feel like a cheater. Yet I have watched his world open up." So my friends, there is a lot more that I could write. And all of this I could disagree with tomorrow. But for now, this will have to suffice. I'm grateful for the colleagues who shared their work that I cited in this sermon. AI technology, if I had used it to write this entire sermon, would likely have not sought them out in this way or given them credit. AI technology is out there, and there is much to learn about it. We should explore it, but cautiously, like we examine and use anything else. May this quest for truth and meaning be guided by our inherent worth and dignity. Amen. So let us now rise in body or spirit to sing hymn 158, Praise the Source of Faith and Learning. And so as we leave this friendly place, let us take the light of love out into the world and use it to brighten our pathways. And when we need to rest or recharge, be challenged or affirmed, may that light guide us safely back. May we hold the light always, and the light hold us always. Amen, and go in peace.